welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we dive into one of the darkest and most twisted love stories to ever unfold in Beyond the Gates. What began as a passionate connection between three souls, Tomas, Kat, and Eva, has spiraled into a storm of betrayal, obsession, and revenge. Secrets buried for months are finally rising to the surface, tearing apart everything they once believed in. As love turns to hatred and trust becomes a weapon, the line between victim and villain begins to blur. Stay with us as we uncover how passion transformed into punishment, and how this triangle of desire led to the most tragic downfall Fairmont Crest has ever seen. The story of Tomas, Kat, and Eva is not just a simple love triangle, it is a slow, calculated descent into obsession, deception, and revenge. Everything began months ago when Tomas entered the lives of two women who seemed to have nothing in common. Kat, a strong but fragile woman, once believed Tomas was her destiny. She saw in him a man who could love, protect, and shield her from the toxic world of Fairmont Crest. But Eva was different. She met Tomas at a time when her marriage was crumbling, and in her loneliness, Tomas became her escape. What started as comfort turned into something darker when Tomas realized he had complete control over her emotions. He didn't crave love, he craved dominance. He wanted to prove that no one could leave him, that he could make both women dependent on him, and as they fought each other, he would be the one pulling every string. Kat soon realized Tomas was no longer the man she once loved. She noticed the small lies piling up, forming a web of deceit too intricate to ignore: hidden messages, unexplained absences, and his manipulative habit of turning every suspicion against her. When she began digging for the truth, she discovered the unbearable Eva, her supposed friend, was the other woman. But Eva didn't know she was being used either. Tomas had told her that Kat was the problem, that he only stayed with Kat to protect a fragile situation. He painted himself as a victim, twisting the truth so convincingly that both women believed him. The truth, however, has a way of surfacing. One rainy afternoon, Kat saw Tomas taking Eva to a prenatal clinic. The image shattered her. She hadn't just lost Tomas, she had lost her faith in people. That day, despair gave birth to rage, and rage to vengeance. Meanwhile, Eva's world collapsed when she learned that Tomas had been lying about everything, that he had never stopped sleeping with Kat. The baby she carried now felt like a curse, a symbol of deceit rather than love. She wondered if Tomas ever wanted this child or if it was just another tool in his manipulation. Guilt, fear, and self-loathing consumed her until her sorrow turned into burning hatred. Tomas believed he was still in control. He didn't realize the two women were now united against him. Kat, cold and calculating, began collecting evidence, recordings, financial records, photos that proved Tomas had used her money to support Eva. Eva hesitated at first, torn between pain and fear, until she received an anonymous letter revealing that Tomas intended to take custody of her unborn child. That was the final straw. She met Kat in a dim bar, and the two women, once enemies, became reluctant allies. Their plan wasn't just to expose Tomas, it was to destroy him. But Tomas was cunning. When he sensed the tide turning, he shifted tactics, feigning remorse, pretending illness, even using Eva's pregnancy as an emotional weapon. He begged, cried, and acted like a man broken by guilt, which softened Eva's heart but infuriated Kat. Their alliance began to fracture, and Tomas exploited it perfectly. Kat spiraled into obsession, she followed him, broke into his house, recorded every phone call, every meeting. Eva descended into paranoia, convinced Tomas might harm her and the baby. She couldn't sleep, relied on sedatives, and considered fleeing Fairmont Crest altogether. Then came the breaking point. Kat sent Eva a video showing Tomas speaking with his lawyer about handling her if she caused trouble. Terrified, Eva confronted him in person. The confrontation turned violent. She slipped, hit the floor, and bled as Tomas stood there, watching with cold indifference. When she woke up in the hospital, her baby was gone. Something inside her died that day, replaced by a darkness that burned hotter than grief. Eva and Kat reunited, this time bound by shared devastation. Their revenge became relentless. They plotted to ruin Tomas's reputation, his career, and his image. Soon, rumors spread, deals fell apart, and Tomas found himself isolated. But he struck back viciously, accusing both women of being unstable and obsessed. He filed lawsuits, manipulated the press, and made people believe Eva had faked her miscarriage. Public opinion split, Kat was fired, and Eva was forced into psychiatric evaluation. Both women lost everything, but not their will to make him pay. The final act came one cold evening. Kat lured Tomas to a lakeside villa, pretending reconciliation. Cameras were hidden throughout the room, doors locked from within. Eva arrived later, pale and haunted. As the three faced each other, love was gone, only vengeance remained. Kat showed Tomas the evidence, every lie, every tear, every betrayal, while Eva, trembling, threw the bracelet he once gave her onto the floor, as if casting away a curse. When the last candle in the room flickered out, silence fell like a shroud. The next morning, police found a burnt room, a body unrecognizable, and 2 sets of footprints leading away. No one ever learned what truly happened that night. Kat vanished from Fairmont Crest, and Eva was last seen by the lake, staring into the still water as though searching for her reflection or her sins. Love had devoured them all in different ways. Tomas died in body, Kat died in remorse, and Eva died in spirit. Fairmont Crest, once a paradise of prestige and beauty, became a place whispered about in fear, a monument to a tragedy that would never fade. As the chaos of that night faded into silence, the story of Tomas, Kat, and Eva became the kind of whispered legend that haunted Fairmont Crest long after the police reports were sealed. The authorities ruled it as an accident, a fire caused by faulty wiring, a tragedy that took one life and scarred 2 others. But those who had known them, who had seen the tension brewing behind polite smiles and social events, never believed it was that simple. Behind closed doors, there was talk of betrayal, madness, and a love so poisoned that it consumed everything it touched. And while no one could prove what really happened, the lingering presence of that night never truly left the air. Kat disappeared entirely. Some said she fled the country under a new name, others believed she had checked herself into a private psychiatric facility. But there were also those who swore they saw her at the lake every few nights, standing by the water where the flames of her revenge had first been reflected. Her life, once filled with ambition and grace, had been reduced to a shadow of guilt and loss. She had won, in a sense. Tomas was gone, but victory had no taste when weighed against what she had become. Revenge had hollowed her, leaving nothing behind but echoes of pain that replayed endlessly in her mind. Eva, on the other hand, never left Fairmont Crest, though she might as well have. The woman who once carried herself with warmth and elegance now lived like a ghost. The miscarriage broke her spirit, but it was the guilt that truly destroyed her. She replayed every decision, every moment she could have walked away, every warning she ignored. Her nights were filled with hallucinations. Tomas's voice whispering her name, the sound of a crying child that didn't exist, the scent of fire that wouldn't fade. The locals pitied her, but their pity only deepened her isolation. Sometimes, she visited the ruins of Tomas's house, laying flowers on the scorched earth as if honoring a lover and cursing an enemy at the same time. She knew she could never escape what she had done, nor what she had lost. For Tomas, his death was the inevitable conclusion of a man who played God with people's emotions. His manipulation had been so elaborate, so cruelly crafted, that he believed himself untouchable until the final moment. Perhaps in his last seconds, when the smoke thickened and the flames surrounded him, he realized the truth, that control was only an illusion, and the hearts he had broken would be the same ones to end him. In the ashes that remained, the investigators found fragments of burned photographs, one of Kat smiling beside him, another of Eva holding his hand. The images were half consumed, like memories devoured by guilt. Months turned into years, but Fairmont Crest never truly recovered. The lake where everything ended became a forbidden place. Teenagers dared each other to visit it at night, claiming to hear faint crying or see a woman in white staring into the water. Some said it was Kat. Others insisted it was Eva, unable to move on. No one knew for sure, but everyone agreed the energy around that place felt wrong, too heavy, too personal, as if the past itself refused to rest. In time, new families moved into the empty homes nearby. They came with smiles and optimism, convinced the rumors were nothing more than stories told by bored neighbors. Yet, one by one, they too began to sense it, the flicker of lights late at night, the reflection of 3 figures by the water, the whisper of names carried by the wind. Fairmont Crest looked beautiful from the outside, but something unseen pulsed beneath its perfection, a scar that refused to fade. The tragedy of Tomas, Kat, and Eva had stained the community in a way that no amount of luxury or pretense could ever erase. The deeper meaning of their story lingered for those willing to see it. It wasn't just a tale of love gone wrong, it was a warning. A reminder of how easily passion can turn into obsession, how love without honesty becomes a weapon, and how revenge can destroy even the one who seeks it. Tomas believed he could control hearts. Kat believed she could reclaim hers through justice. Eva believed love could still save her. But in the end, all three were wrong. Love that grows in deceit cannot heal, it only burns, until there's nothing left but ashes. As years passed, a new generation at Fairmont Crest grew up hearing about the tragedy as folklore. They spoke of Tomas like a phantom of manipulation, Kat as the woman who vanished into guilt, and Eva as the broken mother who lost everything. Their story was told in whispers at gatherings, dramatized in retellings, and immortalized in rumor. Yet, for those who had truly known them, it wasn't a myth, it was a scar. And every time the wind rustled through the trees or the lake rippled under the moonlight, it was as if their presence returned, reminding everyone that love, once corrupted, never truly dies. In the final image of this tale, imagine the lake on a foggy evening. The surface is still, but beneath it lies the reflection of three souls forever bound together. Tomas, the man who played with hearts, Kat, the woman who lost herself to vengeance, and Eva, the woman who loved too deeply to survive it. They are no longer flesh and blood, but energy of regret, longing, and pain circulating endlessly in the place where it all began. Fairmont Crest stands as a monument to them, to their choices, and to the haunting truth that love and destruction often walk the same path. So as we close this chapter, remember that what happened beyond those gates was not just a story, it was a mirror. A reflection of the human condition, of the dangerous edge between devotion and domination. Because sometimes, the ones we love the most are the very ones who lead us to our own undoing. And when that love burns out, what remains is not light, but darkness deep enough to swallow us whole.